How many days you spend in Asasa?
Asasa 2 full weeks. So 14, 15 days total.
And Asasa?
And well, at the Asasa, the facility, just 1 day. So the
Shashamane.
Dola, Adaba, Hawassa facility each took about a day. And then the health post, like the Haruhante health post, maybe a half a day because it's much smaller. But in that entire region, amongst all of the facilities we saw with Rufo, we were there 2 full weeks. Because we talk to the doctors. We listen very deeply. I'm not going to tell anybody what to put on a container, and neither should any of us. I want deeply to listen to what the doctors need. So I ask those doctors, how many births do you have here? What % of those are C-sections? And then I'll say things like, do you have a C-section kit? Does anybody here even know a C? Yes.
Yeah.
So
I got 3 boys with
so you know, so you definitely know. So we spend time, that's part of the assessment process, and that's why it's so important is even if all of you were medical doctors, if you've never been to that facility, you may not know specifically what that facility's electricity can take.
Yeah,
right?
That's the issue back home too, yeah.
Exactly. How wide are the doors? Like I'll tell you right now, a hospital bed would not fit through this door. So the assessment process for us is really important because it allows us to listen, really listen. And then we come back and we write up an assessment report, and that report goes back to our partners like Jara and Jeru, and they share it with the hospitals, and everyone says, yes, you got this right. And we talk about what are your priority areas, and then we start fundraising for the containers. And when we fundraise for the containers and we achieve that goal, we build a packing list. And that packing list is based on that assessment report, because that's what drives the need. If we send them items that we would all walk through here and go, 2 of those, 5 of those, 6 of those, we may not get it right. So we curate that 40-foot container from that visit and that assessment report, which has also been seen by the facility.
So let's say we are here for Asasa right now, do you have that assessment or we have to go through it?
We have assessed it already. We're happy to share that. Yeah, it's been assessed. So we have the report and we can share that at some point along the way. I didn't print those out for you all today, but Satya and Rufo also have that. So we're happy to share that assessment report. We do not have a packing list built yet because we haven't completed the funding. Now, the other thing I want to say about that packing list is even if you write me a $30,000 check today, because I know you are,
Does that work with the size or how that works?
If you hand me that check today and we generate that packing list, even that's not done. That packing list will go back to the facility.
Exactly.
And the facility doctors and administrators get to see it. And they get to
packing
exactly
what they
what's
want.
going to go on that 40-foot container. And maybe since we've done the assessment, they've found hospital beds. You're making them in Ethiopia now. You're making them down in the Oromia region. So maybe they'll say, we needed 20 beds before, but we've been able to get those. So can we take those beds off and come up with something else? And we'll look at that assessment report and go, yes, you also identified you needed strengthening in your surgical area. So you need a crash cart and you need this and you need that. So we negotiate with that facility to make sure that they are happy, and everybody loves their stamps. We will get a stamp and a seal from that hospital to say this is what we need. I want to be very clear, there are some things we cannot get, no matter how hard we try, because remember, everything we send has been donated to us. So we don't buy anything. That's what keeps us, that's what we do. If we don't get it donated to us, so things that are very hard to procure are like
15% administration fee plus 15,000.
and then I think right now you're at about the last time I pulled a rate request, I think the total cost for your project. Well, there's 2 things. This is why I wanted to give some good news, but let's do it in a place that I can give good news nicely, because this is not a pretty background.
Okay, let's
This is not a pretty background. Do you want to give them a couple more minutes?
No, that's fine.
Will they call you? But will they call you if they show up and we can come back up and get them?
No,
they can call us. It's okay. We're recording. It's okay.
I don't
So
want to
whatever
miss
came.
anybody. I'm staying for you all, so I want to make sure.
I think it's Friday today.
That's why.
It's prayer, and what
Friday.
does prayer end at a certain time?
That the fund or what is it?
It's funding. Right now, it's funding. So, Project Cure, we have 7 warehouses. We are going to see the first one.
Okay.
7 the same size around the U.S.
Okay.
50,000 square feet.
Okay.
It's massive. This is the only office. This is our global headquarters here in Denver.
Right?
This is our international global headquarters here in Denver, Colorado. This is the only office that has more than 2 employees. We run lean.
Wow.
Every warehouse around the U.S. has an operations person who manages the warehouse and an executive director. The people that are here are our logistics people. They work on the shipping and the customs and the freight forwarding and all of the complex things. You'll see today the people in that warehouse are mostly volunteer. So we are a 7 warehouse. Last year we sent 170 40-foot containers out of 7 warehouses, and we have 35 total employees around the world. That's it. We are at 2.9% overhead.
Wow.
We're scrappy.
Yeah.
Everybody that you see and the group that's in their training, they're all volunteers being trained. We have an army of about 25,000
For
volunteers
how
that
long
does.
make the volunteer here?
How long is?
Hours. For how many hours? I mean, like,
Gosh, we have volunteers that have been here 20 plus years that are here 3 or 4 days a week.
maybe I can. Yeah.
Yeah, our biomed, and we have groups that will come in once.
Okay.
We have high school kids that are earning. We have space for everyone. We have doctors and nurses and biomedical engineers, and we have accountants and students and stay-at-home moms and dads. I mean, we work on an army of volunteers. So funding, we do not, like many nonprofits who have a big giant pot of funding over here, and they get a new program and they pull it out and write a check. We don't have that pot. So every project is a unique one-time fundraising moment.
So about the funding, is that funding when you get that money is for the container or the size of the container or I mean what the item in the container
It's
or
a
how
great
that
question. I'm going to send you all a breakdown sheet too, but the way our our structure works, all of those items are donated to us, so we don't recharge them back.
Okay.
To ensure that we have money to continue, there's a $15,000 project management fee for every container, and that $15,000 covers everything from if we have to buy parts for a piece of biomedical equipment, if we need to ship a piece of equipment from the warehouse in Phoenix to where it's packing. I mean, there's a whole back of the house work that's done that flat fee covers. Sometimes we lose money on that. Sometimes we break even. It doesn't matter. We keep it as cheap as we can. The fee on top of that is shipping, and that's it. We don't mark shipping up. We don't add money to shipping. We work with about 8 to 12 freight forwarding companies, and we bid out every project. We do get humanitarian rates, but depending on where we're going in the world, it can be pretty expensive. Ethiopia is expensive now because of what's happening in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. If you were on the western side of Africa, your shipping would be much cheaper. So that all the containers into Ethiopia go through Djibouti. It's still the cheapest way, then across land and the safest. And there is a mandatory security markup by the freight forwarding companies, not us, on those containers that are going through. So that's what the fee is. That's it. It's
After
So
that,
when-
go to door to door.
and it's door to door. That's correct.
Yeah.
Some people do want door to port. Maybe you've got a cousin in Djibouti that runs a trucking company, and he's going to do a facility that you love that is doing C-sections, and they don't have a complete C-section kit, and they're beg borrowing. And one of the things we'll identify is they need a C-section kit. They need a general surgery kit. They need, and right behind you are those sterile trays. So all of our kits are packed in sterile trays that go straight into a sterilizer. But if you walk through here,
Most of it. Yeah.
yeah, if you walk through here, you will see a lot of things that save lives that none of us know. I don't have a clue what some of these things do, but the doctors and nurses that pack these surgical kits know. All this is surgical. all of this are donated surgical, whether they're pinchers or scalpels or delivery kits, retractor parts, trays, speculums for vaginal exams, you name it. And they all get packed very specific for a particular kit. So again, it's not always the big things that saves lives.
Other things, yes.
It's not always the big things that saves lives. I don't know if we can get back out. Yeah. So, yeah, even, I don't even have a biopsy forceps. I don't know what it is, but if I need it, I'm going to want my doctor to have it, right? So if there is a center that needs these, we identify that. You do. Okay. If it's a center that needs it, we want to make sure that we pack a surgical kit specific to that center. You got a high trauma area and you got a lot of bone breaks and other things, we're going to pack orthopedic surgical kits. Correct. Correct. That is absolutely
This is a special stuff.
yes, which is probably why they had it roped off. They
Joe? Joe?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you wait for a second for me?
Please.
Your arms are ready about that. Arms are not easy to What surgery can most of them when the
This is the important stuff, actually.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Very important.
If you're a surgeon or a doctor and you don't have it,
surgery في barbaachisaa ta'e meeshaa gaarii waan ta'eef kun
so bad.
information gahaa argataa jirra. Warri biyyaallee waan kanneen viidiyoo kana yoo arganii jiran waan ofii barbaadan achi dhaamsa dabarsuun danda'anii kana akka irra dalanneetiin akka facility achi ga'u godhuun hin danda'amu.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ummata keenya, ummata harka bal'aa, ummata gaarii. Warra asirra argamtan cufti keessanuu galatoomaa. Keessattuu hawwatiin meeshaa ammarra deemnee naagaarra kunniin an sarjarii yeroo hedduu argadhee ijoollee sarjariin argadhee meeshaan kunniin kam achi itti fayyadamaa turanii hawwatiin gabbayaa waan dandeettan hidhadhaa fi ummata keenya haa baraarru ilmaan keenya haa baraarru meeshaan kun meeshaa sarjariitii yeroo ittiin dahanii baay'ee isaa keessa deemsisanii nu laalchisuuf ta'anii haga gubbaatitti filiis rabbii sodaadhaa ummata keenya harka bal'isaatiin haa qarqaarree meeshaa kana galfannu jedhaa galatoomaa.
And the babies and the moms and the child maternal health. It's not just about the women, but you just see so much in the women's health. There's so little child maternal and repair this.
I think that's very critical.
It's tough. It's tough, but I'm going to tell you one other bit of good news that I forgot to tell you as part of, I was sharing earlier the Islamic Relief Grant that we received to help close containers. The Islamic Relief Ethiopia office, and understanding that you really lack technology engineers there and technicians, they've hired a biotech. So this is some of our offices down here. We have our operations team here. These are the people that Stephen, who's done the logistics on about every container we've sent in this beautiful Aroma project. If we see him, we'll be able to say hello. He manages all of the freight negotiations, all of the travel, everything. Hi, how are you? Yvonne is our brand new marketing person, so you see a lot of stuff in red because she's going to make sure that the world feels and sees red. And then just a meeting room, nothing exciting there. If you were in any other warehouse, there's only 2 of us, so we're very small and lean. But these offices really represent what it takes to ship a container. These are people that manage everything from dealing with customs offices to partners, the packing list, inventory management. These are some of the fun items that we do get donated that we would never send, but you can see how cute. We've got some of these old fun items. How long this has been going on from people have been trying to help medically for a long, long time. Okay, this is the area that enters us into this area will enter us right into our warehouse, and then I'm going to talk about customs, and I'm going to talk about another wonderful gift. Okay. Welcome to Project Cure. Stephen, can I just get you to wave? This is a group of Ethiopians to a community and visit a hospital. We will talk to the doctors and the nurses and the surgeons about the types of surgery they get and the things they do. The more sophisticated the hospital, more sophisticated surgery. So maybe we hear they need a kit for C-sections, a birthing kit. Maybe it's an orthopedic kit because they see a lot of broken bones. Or maybe they just need general surgery. We take that information, we come back here, and we custom pack kits in sterile containers that can then be sterilized and reused. But if you're a facility that has a lot of C-sections and you're cobbling together pieces, it takes too long. You don't know that all of the items are going to be there as needed, and you're using things that were never intended to save a life in that way. Rib spreaders, abdominal spreaders, we put them all in kits. So every facility that has a surgical component, we custom pack a kit. So now we're looking at the biomedical area. This is our testing area.
Okay.
They're waiting to be evaluated by a biomedical technician or a biomedical engineer. They're going to go through every one of these, and if we cannot fix it or it's too old to send, we won't. I love the personal oxygen concentrator, baby warmers, incubators, IV drips, especially for places that have a lot of malnutrition. There's kangaroo drips for kiddos. So this one's missing a humidifier reservoir. Josh, who's one of our biotech volunteers, is working on the issue. Okay, this goes nowhere until we know that it's fixed. When it's done, we'll have a whole checklist that's attached to this unit. The converter and the transformer that's needed for the country will be packed with this piece. And I know it's hard to see from the phone, but there are all these little accessories in here. So we send them with the accessories, the cords and the things that plug. This one is ready to go. And you know it because there's an inspection checklist and it's securely wrapped. This is a traditional incubator. This one seems to have more monitoring.
Yes, this is different.
Yeah, this one looks like it's got more monitoring capabilities than a traditional incubator, but they're all incubators along the way. So they all seem to have come to us, which probably happened. The humidifier went bad. The hospital said, throw it away. Somebody said, no, give it to Project Cure. We're going to go buy humidifiers. That's where part of that $15,000 fee comes in. It's all of the accessories that go with it. If we find a ventilator and we need to send it, we're going to send the supplies that go with it. Look at all of these beautiful baby ones. So as soon as they get fixed, they go into inventory. As soon as they go into inventory and they pop up available, it gets pulled for something else. So it is circle. If you come back here in another month, this may be all something else. It might be another group of machines. So baby warmers, I see Panda is a big brand here in the U.S. They work really well in African countries. Some brands in the U.S. don't work well in Africa in general, especially North Africa, because of the humidity and you don't have air-conditioned hospitals. So we try also hard to match the brand with the environment. But all through here, so there's an air filtration system. I have never seen one of these donated to us. We'll figure it out. That's a little more environmentally sound. It has AC or other things. There's not much that doesn't get donated to us. Here's a neonatal CPAP. You see a lot of needs for neonatal suction devices. So when people ask, are they new or used? Yes, they come used, but as you can see, they're not ready to be thrown out. They're incredible quality and they're life-saving. Oh, these are kangaroo. These are for feeding, for malnourished kiddos.
For feeding.
Malnutrition. I'll take that needs assessment. I was in that hospital about 4 hours. I talked to the doctors, I took photographs, I asked their needs, I listened, I asked them what brands do you have? Do you have Philips? Do you have GE? Do you have a biomed? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you have to do anything different. Just raise your money and help the people in the hospital you know and love. Do that. If you do that, you're doing a job for the whole region.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So.
يا لله يا الله يا غفار سامعه نعمته هندرت شكري سهاقه سمر بر سبتين يا سلاه نقيا ندبر سيكين لا غنداه جنة خير قبسيس يا فتاحو همني قل حبيبي نخايو أرقاه لخي بريدا سنفايو أرقاه لخي بريدا سنفايو أرقاه لخي بريدا سنفايو يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله إلهي يا إلهي يا الله إلهي يا إلهي يا الله يا ربي خلق الغبر سمعه يا يا غبا سنودارك هم ناو